Canada's Pharmacare Bill, what it means, why the provinces need to get on board, and the political implications. In October 2024, the Canadian federal government passed a historic piece of legislation, Bill C-64, also known as the Pharmacare Act. This act represents a crucial step toward the creation of a national pharmacare program aimed at providing universal access to essential medications, such as diabetes treatments and contraceptives. The bill is designed to ensure that these medications are free at the point of sale for all Canadians, regardless of their income or where they live. However, while the federal government has passed the bill and it has received royal assent, the next big challenge lies in provincial buy-in. Under Canada's healthcare system, provinces are responsible for delivering healthcare services, and without their agreement, the implementation of Pharmacare remains incomplete. In this video, we'll explore the significance of this bill, the key challenges surrounding provincial participation, and the political landscape that could affect its success or failure. The Pharmacare Act marks the beginning of a national program that aims to provide first-dollar coverage for essential medications. In its initial phase, the bill focuses on providing free access to diabetes medications, such as insulin, metformin, and other drugs used in combination to manage type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It also includes universal access to contraceptives, covering various forms of birth control, including oral contraceptives, IUDs, implants, injections, and emergency contraception. The goal of the bill is to reduce the burden of out-of-pocket medication costs for Canadians. A 2021 Statistics Canada report found that 1 in 5 Canadian adults were either uninsured or underinsured when it came to prescription drugs. Many Canadians faced difficult choices, such as whether to purchase the medications they needed or afford other essentials like groceries and rent. By eliminating direct costs for essential medications, the Pharmacare Act is a significant step toward improving health equity and ensuring that no Canadian has to choose between their health and financial stability. However, while the passing of the bill represents a milestone, the legislation is only the first phase of what is intended to be a more comprehensive national pharmacare plan. The future of this program hinges on negotiations with the provinces, which brings us to the next key issue. Although the federal government has the ability to fund pharmacare and pass legislation, the provinces have constitutional jurisdiction over healthcare delivery. This means that the federal government cannot unilaterally implement pharmacare across the country without the participation of provincial governments. Each province must agree to participate in the program, and in doing so, they would receive federal funding to help cover the cost of providing medications under the Pharmacare plan. One of the biggest challenges is that provincial governments have varying levels of interest in participating, and some have expressed concerns over the program's structure and cost-sharing arrangements. British Columbia has already shown interest, having signed a memorandum of understanding to begin discussions on how they will roll out the program. However, Alberta and Quebec have been vocal in their opposition, citing concerns over healthcare autonomy and potential costs to provincial budgets. Provinces like Alberta argue that the federal government should respect their control over healthcare delivery, while Quebec maintains its long-standing position of safeguarding its unique healthcare system from federal oversight. This resistance could create a patchwork system where some provinces adopt pharmacare while others do not, leading to unequal access to medications across the country. For Canadians, this could mean that where you live determines whether you benefit from free medications. The federal government has emphasized the importance of national unity in healthcare and continues to push for provincial participation. However, the fact that healthcare is such a deeply entrenched provincial responsibility means that these negotiations will not be simple. Provinces may demand more funding, greater autonomy in how they implement the program, or other concessions to maintain control over their healthcare systems. Unlike the provinces, the territories, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, operate under a different governance framework that gives the federal government more direct control over their policies, including healthcare. As a result, the territories are expected to adopt pharmacare more quickly and with fewer obstacles. This is largely because territorial healthcare systems rely more heavily on federal funding and lack the constitutional protections that the provinces have. For Canadians living in the territories, the benefits of pharmacare may be seen sooner, as the federal government's influence in these regions is more direct. The political context surrounding the passing of the Pharmacare Act is particularly interesting. The Supply and Confidence Agreement between the federal Liberals and the NDP played a significant role in keeping the minority government stable and ensuring that pharmacare moved forward. This agreement, which allowed the NDP to support the Liberals on confidence votes, effectively allowed the minority government to pass key legislation without risking a fall. However, as of now, that agreement has ceased, placing the Liberal minority government in a more precarious position. Without the NDP's formal support, the Liberals could face challenges in passing future legislation and staying in power. This raises the question, will the NDP continue to support the Liberals, even without a formal agreement? The answer seems to be yes, at least for now. National Pharmacare has long been a centerpiece of the NDP's platform, and by continuing to support the Liberals, the NDP can ensure that this critical policy becomes a reality. While the formal agreement between the two parties has ended, the NDP has little incentive to withdraw support at this stage, particularly since they can claim Pharmacare as a major political victory. Given the significance of this policy to their base, it's likely that the NDP will provide enough support to keep the government stable until Pharmacare is more firmly established. However, political situations can change quickly. If the government were to fall, or if an election were called before the provinces have signed on to the plan, the future of Pharmacare could be jeopardized. Any potential conservative government, led by Pierre Poilievre, has indicated they would scrap the Pharmacare program, and the policy could be delayed or dismantled entirely depending on the outcome of the next federal election. In the coming months, all eyes will be on the negotiations between the federal government and the provinces. The outcome of these discussions will determine how quickly and to what extent Pharmacare is rolled out across Canada. The provinces will likely continue to raise concerns about funding, autonomy, and the scope of coverage. The federal government, meanwhile, must balance these demands with the need to maintain national standards for Pharmacare and ensure that all Canadians, regardless of their province of residence, have equal access to the medications they need. At the same time, the political situation remains fluid. While the NDP continues to support the Liberals for now, an election could be called at any time, potentially putting the Pharmacare plan at risk. As with many minority governments, the Liberal government must navigate a precarious path forward, balancing the demands of opposition parties, the provinces, and Canadians eager to see progress on this long-promised policy. If all goes according to plan, we could see universal access to essential medications within the next few years. But with political uncertainty and provincial resistance in the mix, there are still many hurdles to overcome before this policy becomes a reality for all. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on Canadian politics. We post new content regularly, and your support helps us bring you more in-depth analysis on the issues that matter.